Morning, my maths group. It's the middle of a week and it's our arithmetic starter, which we're going to have a look at to start with. So we're going to go through looking at comparing fractions, and a question which is sometimes asked in a little bit of a different way for you to think about comparing fractions. And like we do on a daily basis, we're going to work through one together. You're going to pause the video and have a go at one yourself before we then join back up together and work through it. And then in the highlighted yellow is the question that is going to be in your arithmetic starter for today. So I'm just going to switch off my video camera facing me, and then we can look at the question together. Right then, this question is asking you what fraction is exactly halfway between 3/8 and a quarter. Now this is basically asking you to compare fractions. Now hopefully what you may notice is that at the moment you can't compare fractions because your denominators are different. We've got 3/8 and we have got a quarter. Now we need to make sure that they are in the same denominator to see if there is a fraction halfway between. What do I do to find a common denominator? Well, I look at the largest denominator, in this instance 8, and I see if the smaller one is a multiple of that number. Well, it is a multiple of that number. So 1/4, what have I done to 4? To get to 8, I've multiplied it by 2. Okay, so I need to do exactly the same here. Multiply that by 2, I get something 8, and that's a common denominator. What have I done to 4? To change it to 8, I've multiplied it by 2, so I need to do exactly the same to the numerator. So 1 multiplied by 2 is 2. Okay, now I can start to compare them. So it says what fraction is exactly halfway between 3/8 and 1/4? Well, at the moment, I've got 3/8 and 2/8. Now, halfway between that is 2.58. Now, we know that we can't have a decimal fractions, so we need to think to ourselves, what do we need to do in this instance? Well, what we could do now is find another common denominator to see if we then get a number or a fraction which is halfway between. So the next logical thing to do is think, well, another common multiple is going to be a multiple of 8. So our next multiple of 8 is 16. So let's have a look to see what happens when we do 16. What have I done to 8 to get to 16? I've multiplied that by 2. I need to do exactly the same with 3. I need to multiply that by 2 as well. So that will be 6/16. I've multiplied 8 by 2 to get 16. I need to multiply 2 by 2 to get to 4. Ah, brilliant. Now you may have noticed something here. We've got 6/16 and we've got 4/16. It's asking us what fraction exactly halfway between 3/8 and 1/4. Now in this instance, we've got 6/16 and 4/16. So that fraction which is halfway between would be 5/16. Brilliant, we've got the answer there. Now children, it's a chance for you to have a go. Pause the video, have a look at what we've already done, think about it carefully. Now sometimes when you change it to a common denominator, you won't necessarily get that fraction which is halfway between. You may need to then find another common denominator. Pause the video, have a go, and then unpause the video and we will work through it together. Well done for giving it a go. It is a tricky concept, but well done if you had a go with it. Let's follow along to see. So it's asking me what is halfway between 3/4 and 2/3. Well, at the moment, we can't compare those because we have got different denominators. So we need to find a common denominator. We look at the biggest denominator, 4. Is 3 a multiple of 4? No, it's not. So it doesn't work in this circumstance. So we need to think of the common One way of doing that with two fractions is simply multiplying the denominators together, and that will give us a common denominator. So 4 multiplied by 3 is 12, and we have got a common denominator here. What have I done to 4 to get to 12? Well, I've multiplied it by 3, so I need to do exactly the same with this numerator. 3 multiplied by 3 is 9. What have I done with this denominator 3? To get to 12, I multiplied it by 4. I need to do exactly the same with 2. So 2 multiplied by 4 is 8. Now, hopefully you would have noticed something there. I've got common denominators. I've got 9 twelfths and 8 twelfths. Well, I haven't got a fraction which is halfway between, because 8.5 twelfths isn't a fraction. So hopefully you would have realised that you need to now find another common denominator. So if we use the denominator 12, the next logical one, a multiple of 12 would be 24. So let's have a see what happens when we change the denominator to 24. What have I done to the denominator 12 there? To get to 24, I times it by 2. I need to do exactly the same with 9. So that becomes 18 24s. What have I done to this denominator 12 to get to 24? I've times that by 2. I need to do exactly the same with our numerator 8. 8 multiplied by 2 is 16. Hopefully you've noticed 18 24ths and 16 24. The fraction, which is halfway between, is 17 24ths. So our answer to this question, what fraction is exactly halfway between 3/4 and 2/3? It would be 17 24ths. So children, really well done if you got that one right. If you found that one difficult, that is understandable. Right? It's a different way of asking your knowledge about comparing fractions. Like I said, sometimes when you change it to a common denominator in the first instance, you won't get a fraction which is halfway between. So you then need to find a common denominator of the next one, in this instance 24, to get that answer. Now the question in your arithmetic starter today is, what fraction is exactly halfway between a third and a half? Now again, if you need to rewatch a video to see the steps, please do so. Give it a real good go and you will find the answer at the bottom of the page. Enjoy today's arithmetic questions and then the main body of learning for today. And I will see you for Thursday's session. Bye everyone.